The following program, NORML Show Live, is intended for responsible adults only. We advocate for the repeal of marijuana prohibition for adults. We discuss the science, culture, and controversy about America's marijuana laws. We do not advocate or encourage any illegal activity and advise all listeners to learn their state and federal marijuana laws by visiting NORML.org, NORML.org. Opinions and claims made by guests and advertisers of NORML Show Live are their own and do not necessarily reflect the philosophy and policies of NORML. Listener discretion is advised.
You take a seed, you plant it, you grow it, you dry it, you roll it, you smoke it. You take a seed, you plant it, you grow it, you dry it, you roll it, you smoke it, and it goes down smooth. Hey!
Spanning the continent to bring you the truth about cannabis and marijuana law reform.
I smoke pot and I like it a lot.
From the promise of legalization.
And I think we need to rethink and recriminalize our marijuana laws.
To the agony of prohibition.
One major responsibility is to encourage people to use less drugs.
The National Organization for the Reform of Marijuana Laws presents NORML Show Live, Marijuana Nation. Now, here's your host, NORML's Outreach Coordinator, Radical Russ Belville.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome. It is Tuesday, June 15th, 2010, and it's got to be 420 somewhere in the world. Thanks for joining us for the next 60 minutes of news, talk, interviews, information, music, comedy, and more by, for, and about the cannabis community. Now, if you've noticed something different in the back, or that there's something not there, you're absolutely right, because somebody forgot to bring the banner back from Aspen. Again. So,
dun, 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 dun. I didn't have the button, sorry.
So it's casual today. We're going with the NORML t-shirt, just so the word normal will be on screen somewhere. And, of course, joining us here in the studio, the maestro, Ganja John.
Hey, Russ, can I start the show off today just by saying that Rolla J is a friend indeed?
Rolla J is indeed.
He's not listening to the show live today. He's in Yellowstone, but you're listening to the replay, Rolla J? Love you, buddy.
We love you, Rolla J. In fact, the board there, everything you're seeing behind John there, all courtesy of Rolla J. We really love the guy. Also, during this weekend, I was in Aspen, and we're going to be talking about that a little bit later. But while I was gone, Ganja John took care of the studio, took care of the house, and took care of Roscoe, the official dog of the NORML Show Live. We would bring some photos up here. Roscoe had guard duty, I understand.
Yes, Roscoe and I went on a trip.
I see.
We did.
There he is. There's Roscoe guarding what looks to be a garden.
Yeah, a little garden, a little outdoor garden. He was doing a little quality control, too.
I see. He's sniffing. He's making sure that there's no males within the group there.
Yeah, he only likes the ladies.
And speaking of the ladies, coming to us from our virtual studio in beautiful Astoria, Oregon, my good friend and the basis of Bruce Willis's character in Unbreakable, Carrie Gallagher.
Hi, guys. Hi, Ganja John. Those pictures were adorable.
Aren't they cute?
Oh, Cannabis Carrie. Speaking of pictures, we've got some pictures to show here from your trip. We've got them right here. You've posted them already. But for those that didn't know, Cannabis Carrie was involved in a rollover accident on I-70 coming back from Aspen. Here's the car. You can see it rolled over. I'll give you the second shot here. This is Carrie's side of the car. Carrie, tell them about the extent of your great injuries from rolling over the median and into oncoming traffic on I-70.
Well, I broke a fingernail.
Jesus.
And they did say I got a minor concussion, but I think they just did not realize I'm kind of slow all the time. So.
Yeah. Hooray for seatbelts and God bless Ralph Nader,
That's
right?
lack of sleep. That's not a concussion.
That's a beautiful thing. We're so glad to have you here, Carrie. So Carrie does our headlines right after the first break. So what's in the news today, Carrie?
Well, we were in Aspen. A massive raid effort was going on last week, so we're going to talk a little bit about that. Also, we have some reporting from kind of a follow-up from some of those dispensary raids that were shut down in Canada earlier this month. And also, we're going to go to one of the U.S. territories who's trying to push their own medical marijuana bill.
All right. We'll have all of that coming up right after our first break. And want to encourage everyone to check out our sponsors as you're listening to the show. And check out our blog, the Stash blog, at stash.normal.org. Click on the advertisements. Help us pay for this bandwidth here to bring this show to you free. Now, coming up today on today's show, perfect time for it to come up on today's show, right? Today?
Today. today.
That makes perfect sense. Today is Electric Tuesday, so we will be doing our Daily Toker Tunes. We've got some great music from the Symphony of Science. The new one's out about planet Mars. We love the science here at Normal Show Live. Then at 1:30, we're going to have an interview with California Marijuana Report. They're interviewing Stephanie Landa from the Landa Prison Outreach Program. This is the group that sends letters out to prisoners of the drug war. So we'll be talking with Stephanie Landa later on in the show. And at 45 past, we got some discussion of the Aspen Legal Seminar. I've got some highlights with Douglas Hyatt, an attorney from Seattle, Washington. And all of that and more is coming up here on Normal Show Live, the voice of the Marijuana Nation. We're here every Monday through Friday, 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Catch the replays at 3, 5, 7, and 9, and we'll be right back after these messages.
You're listening to Normal Show Live, the voice of the Marijuana Nation.
Hello, I'm Radical Russ Belville, Outreach Coordinator for NORML and host of Normal Show Live. Medical marijuana is legal in 14 states today, and I encourage you to visit marijuanadoctors.com to find a physician to help you obtain an authorization for medical marijuana in your state. In most medical marijuana states, patients qualify with a history of either severe chronic pain and or nausea, cancer, AIDS or HIV, glaucoma, seizure disorders like epilepsy, chronic muscle spasms such as multiple sclerosis, and other conditions which vary by state. Learn which conditions are covered in your state at marijuanadoctors.com. If you or someone you know has one of these conditions, marijuanadoctors.com will help you find a physician online or by phone to obtain a permit for medical marijuana. Marijuanadoctors.com is fully transparent and HIPAA compliant. Call 866-996-9333 today or visit marijuanadoctors.com. That's 866-996-9333 by phone or online at marijuanadoctors.com.
Medical marijuana, industrial hemp, consumer cannabis. It's time for this week's Normal News with Cannabis Carrie.
Attorney General Eric Holder announced that the U.S. has arrested 429 suspects last week to wrap up a focused crackdown on illicit drugs coming from Mexico. The operation was called Project Deliverance, and in 22 months is responsible for over 2,200 arrests. Project Deliverance was an effort to step up security along the U.S.-Mexican border using different agencies on the federal, state, and local levels. The interagency operation conducted a series of raids last Wednesday across 16 states, and the 429 arrested in those raids were accused of participating in smuggling and transportation for Mexican drug cartels, according to the U.S. Attorney General. More than 3,000 federal, state, and local law enforcement agents were involved in the massive operation. On Wednesday, along with 429 arrests, officials seized $5.8 million in cash, almost 3,000 pounds of marijuana, 247 pounds of cocaine, 17 pounds of methamphetamine, 141 weapons, and 85 vehicles. Now, if those one-day totals sound impressive, that was on top of the already $154 million in cash, 1,262 pounds of methamphetamine, 2.5 tons of cocaine, 1,400 pounds of heroin, 138,000 pounds of marijuana, 501 weapons, and 527 vehicles. Also arrested were 2,266 individuals during the 22-month operation. One of those arrested last week was the Texas border town police chief, who was charged with 1 count of conspiracy to distribute over 2,200 pounds of marijuana and 4 counts of possession with intent to distribute. According to the indictment, which was unsealed on Thursday, Michelle Leonhardt, the head of the DEA, said that the effort had inflicted a series of blows that will have a real impact on the cartels and their ability to function. Another DEA official said the operation was likely to disrupt the flow of drugs from Mexico for a period by removing the institutional memory of figures who are experts in drug transportation. Attorney General Holder praised Mexican government officials as waging a courageous battle against violent drug cartels, singling out the arrest last month of Carlos Ramon Castro Rocha, who had been indicted in the U.S. on charges of importing heroin and is believed to be a significant drug cartel leader. Holder, while praising the operation as a success, said it would not stop drug smuggling from Mexico. Now, more than 300 agencies were involved in that raid last week.
Well, I guess then these cartels in Mexico, they must be in their last throes. With the last throes of the cartels, we've turned a corner. I know, we've turned a corner and we've taken down the number 3 man in Al-Qaeda. I mean, the drug cartels. Does this all sound familiar to you guys? I mean, this notion that we're having any sort of impact on these cartels, they always like to brag about how big the operation was, 2,200 arrests. Well, all that just means is that you've opened up 2,200 new jobs in Mexico, okay? These people get replaced immediately as soon as they are taken in by our authorities. You just create a power vacuum that fills in with more people. As far as the institutional memory of drug trafficking, no, it's pretty well known all throughout these groups how to get the drugs across the border. It's not like they're going to forget how to do it. It's well trained amongst all of the people in there, and this is evidenced by the fact that year after year after year we continue to see plenty of supply of marijuana coming from Mexico. We see no changes in the prices of the Mexican brickweed out there. We are not having any sort of impact whatsoever. But what we are doing is funneling American guns and American cash down to Mexico to these violent gangs that will do anything to protect their turf. It's long past time that we legalize here in America, because we would be more than willing to outgrow the Mexicans and distribute it within the United States.
Wait, that's not the news whoosh. Hold on.
That was cool, though.
Okay, you can have your regular news whoosh back there.
We reported on some medical marijuana dispensary raids in Canada earlier this month, and now one of those dispensaries that was shut down by Montreal authorities is urging clients to buy their cannabis on the street. The Compassion Club in Montreal has been inundated with clients looking for their medical marijuana. The choices are limited. Canadian patients who need their prescriptions filled can go to Health Canada, but it takes about 2 to 6 months to obtain marijuana, or they can buy marijuana on the street for a price. Genevieve Simon, the Compassion Club administrator who was arrested last month in the coordinated police raids that closed 5 dispensaries, has been urging her patients to go to the local metro station and buy from people there, because it is the only place that is an open market and an obvious place to find a dealer. Montreal police said that advising people to buy marijuana from the street dealers isn't illegal. Simon, who is facing drug trafficking charges stemming from the raids, has set up a table outside of her dispensary to consult with her clients. She hopes to once again sell medical marijuana, but expects a long, drawn-out court battle before she can envision reopening her Compassion Club. She was one of 35 people charged in the June 3rd raids, and she's expected in court on June 23rd to answer the charges.
Well, how sad is this that, the entire country of Canada allows for medical marijuana, but we shut down the dispensaries where people can get it safely. And now we have to encourage them to go out on the street trying to get medicine from strangers. Doesn't sound very safe to me. And that Health Canada can't get the medicine to people within 2 to 6 months when, any average high schooler can probably get it within the day. This is just insane. Once again, we have a situation where, because of cannabis being illegal for all people, that people have to be considered criminals first and before they can be proven to be patients. And all of these restrictions that they put on cannabis and shutting down dispensaries and growing all of Health Canada's weed up in an abandoned mine up in Flin Flon, Manitoba, all of this owes to the fact that they still want to keep it illegal for everyone else. That's what puts all the barriers up to patients. Every single problem that you can point out with a medical marijuana program, whether it be the national program in Canada or the state programs in 14 U.S. states, any problem that you can find with medical marijuana is a problem of marijuana prohibition, period. Until it is legal for all, there will always be problems for patients.
And from Guam, a medical marijuana bill was introduced yesterday with all kinds of cultural references. On Monday afternoon at precisely 4:20 p.m., Senator Rory Respicio of Guam introduced Bill 420, also called the Compassionate Healthcare Act of 2010. To legalize the medicinal use of marijuana on the U.S. territory island, Senator Respicio reported that he wanted to file it at 420 to tie in with the symbolism and the whole meaning behind 420, although he did go on to say that the bill wasn't advocating the use of cannabis for recreational types of activity. Bill 420 would allow local compassion centers that are authorized to grow and sell marijuana to qualified patients. Respicio says that the legislation, if passed, would require the Guam Department of Public Health to develop rules, procedures, and regulations for the dispensaries. Those operating the centers would be required to submit locations where the marijuana would be cultivated, as well as having security and safety measures in place. Bill 420 would give physicians the authority to recommend cannabis to patients they believe could benefit from it on the island of Guam.
Well, that might give us a reason to go to Guam someday. Who knows? But good for him for introducing the bill. I don't know about all the 420 symbolism, though, because I hate, mixing the recreational cultural notion of 420 with the medical marijuana issue. It can lead to confusion, especially amongst people who don't know much about either. But, it's good that the bill got introduced, though. I did want to take some time here at the end of our news segment to read you a letter that we got here at NORML that just illustrates why we are here every day trying to change marijuana laws in this country. I'll just read for it, and I'm going to paraphrase a little bit to protect the person's identity, but it says, "Dear NORML, my name is Annie, and I'm a 30-something disabled medical marijuana user. I was arrested on June 8th after a burglar broke into my back door and entered my home while I was asleep in my bed. When I saw the man, I immediately called 911 because I was afraid for my life. After the police arrived, they saw my paraphernalia, a small amount of dried marijuana, and my cannabis literature on medical marijuana growing. They got a search warrant and found my 3 plants growing in a homemade grow box. I was arrested at 10:30 a.m. that morning and released on a $13,500 bond Wednesday night around 10 p.m. I have no prior record. I do not know what to do. My husband of 16 years was also arrested because he has guns in the home that are legally purchased and registered to him. My husband was at work but came home when he heard there was a break-in and that I was being arrested. He is 41 and has no prior record. I received disability and my husband works for a living. I've been to doctors for 4 years for my chronic pain that I have from a car accident in June 2006. I have 6 screws and a plate in both my right leg and left arm. There were 9 screws in my leg, but the doctor removed 3 screws because they were infected. My doctors have tried everything to ease my pain, but nothing works the way marijuana does. I even cook with a canna butter recipe that I found in a book. My husband does not smoke or ingest weed in any way. He built the grow box for me because he loves me and does not want to see me in so much pain. Please help us find some type of direction. We feel doomed." So this is Annie, and she's in Louisiana. She's in the state of Louisiana. If she was in California, Colorado, Oregon, any number of the 14 states here that have medical marijuana statutes, she'd be fine. But because she's in Louisiana, Annie here is out on bond, probably going to face cultivation charges, felonies here in the state of Louisiana, I believe. And if we can just go to the NORML.org page, we'll be able to find the value or what the possible sentences here that she'll face. You can find this NORML.org, and we've got our state-by-state marijuana laws. Definitely something you should look up in your state to know what you're dealing with here. And for the state of Louisiana, I'm afraid it's not very good, although it's taking a long time for it to show up here. Here we go. So we go to the state of Louisiana, and I do want to encourage Annie, if you're out there listening, we do have a NORML Louisiana now. You can check them out at normllouisiana.org, and you can get the information you need. They can help you out, help get the word out about this. But looking at the state of Louisiana here, of course, we're talking about cultivation and we're talking about the possession charges as well as paraphernalia. And I'm stalling a bit because my internet's going very, very slow trying to pull this up. But this is why we're fighting this every day, is because here's somebody who's got chronic pain, who's suffering, and who has a break-in in her home, right? Has a stranger break into her home in the middle of the night. And what? She's supposed to make the decision between, gee, should I call the cops and face, a felony for growing, or should I take my chances with the armed robber here who's breaking into the house? So let's see. Possession, any amount, first offense, misdemeanor, 6 months, $500 fine. Sale or cultivation of less than 60 pounds. Now that would be, 3 plants. Sounds like less than 60 pounds to me. Felony, 5 to 30 years in prison, $50,000 fine. And the paraphernalia, throw that on as well. Misdemeanor, 6 months, $500. Now, with guns involved in this, there can also be, and again, he owned his guns legally. But what we found here is that medical marijuana patients were basically living under Jim Crow. And not just medical, but also just cannabis users in general. We don't have the rights that other people have. We lose our right to vote because of felony cultivation charges. We lose our ability to, as medical marijuana patients, to legally own handguns or legally own firearms, because we know that the penalties can go up whenever we're caught with firearms. Or here in Oregon, we got some counties where the sheriffs are taking away people's legally owned and registered handguns. We're losing our Second Amendment rights here. And this story of Annie here in Louisiana just it clinches it for me. This notion that she has to fear for her life. And then when the cops show up, they seem to be more interested in busting her for the weed, busting her for the cultivation, the gardening, more interested in taking this criminal, this terrible person out of her own home than to catch the bad guy, to catch the idiot who broke into her house.
You lose your ability to become a victim.
Exactly. He's got no chance here, no hope at all. So I just wanted to read that letter to let you know why we're here at NORML, and please go to NORML.org, make a donation so we can help end this prohibition and fight for people like Annie. All right, time to take a break. It's 20 after. We're going to get you some Electric Tuesday Daily Toker tunes. We got some great music from Mars and Carl Sagan. Stick around.
It's 20 after the hour, and we have to take a short break, if you know what I mean. Please support these sponsors who support NORML Show Live.
Oh, have you ever met that funny reefer man? A reefer man. Have you ever met that funny reefer man? A reefer man. If he said he swam to China, he would send you South Carolina. Then you know you're talking to that reefer man.
Law420.com. Hello, I'm Russ Belville, Outreach Coordinator for NORML. In my job, I read literally hundreds of headlines each month involving nonviolent, productive citizens whose lives are ripped apart by a marijuana or drug arrest. Many citizens could avoid arrest by refusing police searches and remaining silent, but police are well trained to confuse and intimidate. That's why you have a right to speak to an attorney before answering any police questions. I hope you never need to exercise that right, but if you do, make your first call to the law offices of John C. Lucy IV. John Lucy is an accomplished criminal defense attorney with expertise in Oregon's medical marijuana law. John Lucy understands and respects cannabis and drug consumers of all backgrounds. Call John C. Lucy IV at 503-227-6000 or visit in downtown Portland. Address available at law420.com. That's John C. Lucy IV at 503-227-6000 or visit law420.com today.
Do you really want to legalize marijuana? Prove it. Join NORML today at NORML.org, and your donation will help us spread the growing truth about cannabis. Free speech ain't free, you know.
Free the ganja tree, it's the healing of the nation. Free the Cali weed, good for meditation. Free the pot smokers, they renat the light. Lighting up the chalice, they keep no malice. Free the marijuana, come on, say. Free the marijuana, hear me, say. Free the marijuana, come on, say. Free the marijuana, legalize it.
It's time for your Daily Toker Tunes, the best in 420-friendly music from all genres that uplifts, entertains, and informs the public. Our pod-safe music is donated by freedom-loving musicians who support our goal of ending adult marijuana prohibition. Today we bring you tunes for Electric Tuesday, our segment featuring the best of modern electronic music in the genres of dance, new age, house, and electronica. Brought to you by Sarah Kant in Boston, Massachusetts, and Sarah Kant Photography. If you'd like to submit your song to be played on NORML Show Live, send it to us at stash@norml.org or mail your CD to NORML Outreach, 4110 Southeast Hawthorne Boulevard, number 161, Portland, Oregon, 97214. Now, here's some great independent marijuana music for today's Daily Toker Tunes.
All right, everyone, just about 24 after the hour, and today we're staying in studio. We're not going to go out to Sarah today. We're a little late on our side getting things put together after coming back from Aspen, so we just pulling one here from the vaults, a great tune. It's the latest release on the excellent website, Symphony of Science. Check them out, Symphony of Science, I think it's .org out there, but it's what they do is they take great scientists, Neil deGrasse Tyson, Carl Sagan, Stephen Hawking, and so on. They take their voices from lectures and from television shows and interviews and auto-tunes them to make music. And we've been playing a few of them here on the Daily Toker Tunes Mega Mix, in between shows. The latest one here is about the planet Mars, and without further ado, here it is.
Mars
Mars is the next logical step in our space program. It's the challenge that's been staring us in the face for the past 30 years. It has water, it has carbon, it has a 24-hour day, it has geothermal energy. Mars is a place we can settle.
There is a giant rift in its surface, 5,000 kilometers long. There is a volcano as wide as Arizona.
So there's the choice in life. One either grows or one decays. Grow or die. I think we should grow.
Mars is a world of wonders.
It has canyons, river valleys, and giant ice sheets.
Mars is a world of wonders.
It shouldn't be humans to Mars in 50 years. It should be humans to Mars in 10. We either muster the courage to go, or we risk the possibility of stagnation, cosmic radiation, zero gravity, Martian dust storms, back contamination. But these are dragons that we can take over.
In our time, we have sifted the sands of Mars, established a presence there, and fulfilled a century of dreams.
The Mars rovers have really captured our imaginations. They genuinely are explorers in the old-fashioned sense. If you put out a call for volunteers from the first crew to Mars, they'd be lined up coast to coast.
Mars is a world of wonders.
It has canyons, river valleys, and giant ice sheets.
Mars is a world of wonders.
It shouldn't be humans to Mars in 50 years. It should be humans to Mars in 10. Mars is a dry, frozen version of our home, covered in red dust and sand.
At one time, in the ancient past, Mars was very similar to the condition of earlier.
There will always be people with new ideas on how humans should live together.
We now have eyes and ears on the surface.
What's left after you go is the good you left behind. You have to believe in hope. You have to believe in the future. There are more and more people coming around to the point of view that a positive future for humanity requires human expansion to space.
Mars is a world of wonders.
It has canyons, river valleys, and giant ice sheets.
Mars is a world of wonders.
It shouldn't be humans to Mars in 50 years. It should be humans to Mars in 10.
This is a world of wonders.
We're at a crossroads today. We either muster the courage to go, or we risk the possibility of stagnation again.
Loving that symphony of science. That's Mars, the great Carl Sagan, and others. Check it out at symphonyofscience.org.
It only comes twice a day, but I don't care. It's 420 somewhere.
All right, it's time to check out NORML's Cannabis Community Calendar, which you can find at normal.org/calendar. Today, Tuesday, June 15th, there's a weekly medicating event taking place at the Phoenix Cafe in Hazel Park, Michigan. Also in Albuquerque, New Mexico, Hemp TV is on the cable access channel. Call 505-880-0666 for tickets to the show. On Wednesday, June 16th, Benzie County NORML is having their meeting in Benzonia, Michigan. Check them out at minormal.org or call Reverend Steve at 231-882-4496. Also on Wednesday, Tulsa NORML is having their meeting at the Hardesty Regional Library. Check out tulsanormal.org for details. On Thursday, June 17th, there is a Vukmir Unappreciation Protest. This is at Madison's. Check out the calendar for more details. Schoolcraft County NORML in Michigan is having their meeting at Hypnotic Hydroponics in Manistee, Michigan. And Philly NORML in Philadelphia is having their open meeting at the A Space in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. They always meet on the first and third Thursdays of the month. Check out phillynormal.org for information. On Friday, June 18th, the Blaney Park Rendezvous for Schoolcraft County NORMLs taking place in Blaney Park, Michigan, with a NORML booth display. That's taking place on Friday. On Saturday, June 19th, Central Ohio NORMLs having their meetup at Panera Bread, and Kansas City is having their public meeting, Kansas City NORML, at the Westport Coffee House. But the big event taking place on Saturday, June 19th, is the High Times Medical Cannabis Cup. Check out medcancup.com for more information. We'll be there with NORML Show Live at the first ever American Cannabis Cup, sponsored by High Times Magazine. Danny Danko, Nico Escondido, and Jorge Cervantes will be delivering 3 separate cultivation seminars, and I will be there doing interviews with NORML Show Live at 2:30 p.m. both Saturday and Sunday. The Saturday interview will be with Irv Rosenfeld, the federal medical marijuana patient from Florida, and the Sunday interview will be with Dr. Frank Lucido, a medical marijuana specialist in California. So check that out, medcancup.com for more information, and stay tuned to NORML Show Live. We'll be bringing you streaming from it all day, Saturday and Sunday. Speaking of Sunday, Sunday is Father's Day, so make sure to think of Dad and get him something he'll really enjoy. Also coming up is the solstice. It is the summer solstice, so we've got some celebrations happening all over the NORML network. And NORML Louisiana is having their online chat meeting. Check out normallouisiana.org for more details. And for more information on all of these events, check out the NORML Cannabis Community Calendar.
And I just wanted to give a shout out to Ganja Dad, actually, because this weekend, the High Times Cup, he's going with me, and going with me and my wife and my mother, and it's their 35th wedding anniversary. And it's Father's Day, and he decided to spend it at the High Times Cannabis Cup. So just want to say thanks, Dad.
You can't have a better dad than one that'll go to the High Times Medical Cannabis Cup with you.
No.
That's pretty cool. And his dad's actually a medical professional.
He is. He actually is.
So he might learn something.
Yeah,
who knows?
Yeah.
Check out the NORML Cannabis Community Calendar at norml.org/calendar.
Starfish Designs, makers of the original Gandalf.
I'm Radical Russ, and when I want to relax, I always have my 17-inch long original Gandalf from Starfish Designs nearby. The hand-blown borosilicate glass is strong and easy to clean, and the design is sleek and sophisticated. Starfish Designs are available from Bend, Oregon at a glass retailer near you. For locations, call 541-788-GLASS. That's 541-788-4527. The NORML PAC, the political arm of NORML, makes contributions to members of Congress and select state legislators who support our policies and advance legislation towards that end. Elected officials need to see that those of us who support legalization are serious about changing policy, are about more than just getting high, and understand the importance of supporting politicians who support us. Please make a contribution today to the NORML PAC and send it to the NORML office in Washington, D.C., 1600 K Street Northwest, Suite 501, Washington, D.C., 20006. Or go to the NORML website and make a generous contribution. It is an investment in our future and will help assure we finally re-legalize the responsible use of marijuana in this country. Thank you. California has long been the epicenter of marijuana law reform in the United States. Every Tuesday, we're joined by Eric Brenner, the producer of the California Marijuana Report, for an interview with an important figure in cannabis in the Golden State. You can hear the entire California Marijuana Report on the radio at KRXA AM 540 in Monterey. Now, here's another great interview with Eric Brenner.
Hi, this is Chief Mayor, and you listen to Eric Brenner on the California Marijuana Report.
We have a very special guest on the California Marijuana Report this week. One of my absolute favorite people in the entire marijuana movement, Stephanie Landa of the Landa Prison Outreach Project. Stephanie, welcome to the California Marijuana Report.
Thank you so much, Eric, and I'm so happy to be on this program. I'd like to tell everybody that I'm out of prison. I'm still on probation, and I've started the Landa Prison Outreach Program. It sends books into the different prisons. Right now, we have 4 prisons that we're dealing with, and believe me, when I get a phone call from a prison and they say, hello, this is the federal prison, I think to myself, oh no. And then they say, we want to join your book program. So it's bringing a lot of books into our POWs for sure, our medical marijuana prisoners, and a lot of other people. And when I was in, books and letters were my only hope. That was the only light I ever got. Like when it was mail time, I was ready for it. And fortunately for me, I got a lot of mail. And LPOP, which we call Landa Prison Outreach Program, they are sending in letters every day to our POWs. So we're in communication with them. We're starting to be their voice in West Coast Cannabis and Weed World and Chris Conrad's magazine. Off the cuff. I'm sorry, Chris.
It's called West Coast Leaf. West Coast Leaf.
West Coast Leaf, sorry. Okay, West Coast Leaf, they're going to give us a monthly every month where we are the voice for the prison, our POWs that are in prison, which, of course, are our warriors. And you're going to be able to hear straight from them through us. So I'm really excited about the program. We just got the website up. It's LandaPrisonOutreachProgram.com.
Well, it sounds like a terrific website for a fantastic organization. Stephanie, let's just take our listeners back to how you got involved in the federal prison system. This is a very disturbing story, and I think our listeners need to know. Would you be so kind to tell us?
Sure. In 2002, I went to San Francisco, and my partner and I went to a meeting with the captain of the narcotics squad and his sergeant. He gave us permission to come to San Francisco, which was a sanctuary, and he gave us written permission with no plant limit. He said, as long as you have recommendations and you're growing for a clinic, we want you to come to our city. So that wasn't enough for me. I went to the district attorney and I talked to him, and he said the same thing. Please come to San Francisco. We need more people to provide medicine. And then when the 10 county supervisors gave us letters saying, yes, we are a sanctuary. We want you here. And the captain of the narcotics squad, Captain Cashman, told me that they don't cooperate with the federal government. So we thought, okay, we're in Los Angeles, we're happy, but we moved to San Francisco because we feel the need, and we were growing 50 different strains so that we would have something for every illness. We had a surgeon working with us. So we were there 3 months. No, April, May, June, July. We were there 4 months. And July 18th, 2002, they came in, and the San Francisco Police Department came in. And when they came in, I was like, wait a minute. What's happening here? You told us to do this. And they realized that they had made a mistake. And one of the officers, the same one that was at the meeting, the sergeant, he did not like what was going on. He was cross-designated. He took our case to the U.S. Attorney, and they indicted us. And then we all got 41 months.
Unbelievable. Now, once you were sentenced to federal prison, you were sent to the facility in Dublin, California, right here in the San Francisco Bay Area. Is that correct, Stephanie?
Right, correct.
Now,
first they sent me, the judge thought I should do a month in county jail in Santa Rita first to make sure I learned my lesson. That's what he said. And so I did a month in Santa Rita before I got transferred across the street to the federal prison.
That's a disgusting and cruel human being that would send a fine woman such as yourself to a county jail, which, as most people may not be aware of, is a very dirty and despicable and disgusting place for any human being.
Allison Margolin had to come up there after I'd been there a month and threaten them so that they moved me across the street.
Well, we have so much good things to say about Allison Margolin. That's just terrific that she came to your rescue there. Now, once you got to the federal prison, the conditions improved greatly. The food was better. The food was awful, but better than the county jail. But awful is what you're saying.
Yeah, the food was awful, and the conditions were awful. They didn't have any screens, and they didn't have the doors didn't close, and it's the camp that I was at for a year before they moved me inside. But the camp that I was at was an old World War II barracks, so there was no heat, no air conditioning, no, it was just like, whatever the conditions were outside. Since the doors didn't close, even the raccoons would come in.
Oh, that's terrible. Now, Stephanie, you stayed in this facility for 2 years. Is that correct?
3.
3 years. You originally were sentenced to 2 years. Tell everybody.
41 months. No, 41 months. I was originally sentenced.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, you were originally sentenced to 41 months. You were set to be released after 2 years. What happened?
I was set to be released after 2 years after I took the drug program, but my roommate decided that she was going to turn me in for smoking medicine, which I had found on the grounds, and she did, and I came up dirty, and they gave me an extra year.
I'm so sorry that happened to you.
The reason I did it to begin with is because I'm a patient, and I'm in extreme pain. I have to have my shoulder and the ball replaced because a car had run me over. So the whole thing started because I was a patient.
So you found this medicine on the grounds of the federal prison. This is what you told the authorities. How did they treat you when you tested so-called dirty for THC? How were you treated?
They put me in the hall, which is a room with 4 people in it, and a shower and a sink and a toilet. And they put me in there for 4 months. And it was horrible. It was really cold, really dark, really dingy. But then they left the light on all night. It was an incredible experience. They gave you one really thin blanket, and it was air conditioned. It was so cold.
How do these people come up with these systems? I mean, can you imagine if you actually had done something really bad, like maybe assaulted someone? I mean, we're talking about testing positive for something for medicine that is legal on the outside. Right. Where do they get their...
The thing about it is that what I realized in prison is that everyone in prison is a mom, first of all. They are all moms. They all have kids. And the horrible part is that the federal sentences are extremely long. They're like for methamphetamine, which I don't agree with, and I think that people shouldn't use, but should they go to jail for 25 years?
That's so sad. Now, Stephanie, how do people cope in these conditions for decades? How are women coping?
They're getting very, very fat because there's a lot of starch. They give you all starch to eat every day. So they're very, very over, the prison was obese. I was like, wow. And coping, they need the books that I send in because there's no books there. There's nothing for them to do. And because I've sent in probably 5,000 books to Dublin. And Dublin, the women write me letters going, oh, I'm so glad I get to read a book. I mean, it's so dark.
How do these women emotionally cope, Stephanie? That's what my question really is. How do they cope?
There's a lot of crying. People are crying all over the place.
All right, this is very upsetting. This is very upsetting, Stephanie Landa. Now, the only way we can help these women is not only by sending books and donating to your organization, the Landa Prison Outreach Project, but we have to continue our work here on the outside. These women have to know that they have a voice with Stephanie Landa and the Landa Prison Outreach Project and Eric Brenner of the California Marijuana Report. What else would you suggest we do?
Write letters. Be a pen pal. Call me. My phone number is 818-652-7891. I always answer the phone. Please call me if you want to help.
Okay, that's Stephanie Landa, the Landa Prison Outreach Project. You are currently on parole, federal parole, for your so-called marijuana crimes. How much longer do you have to put up with these people in parole?
2 years.
All right. Well, Stephanie, you have the full support of the California Marijuana Report. You need to know that if there's anything else we can do for you, please call me. You have my phone number, and we're connected on Facebook. Stephanie Landa, the Landa Prison Outreach Project, thank you so much for joining us today on the California Marijuana Report.
And Eric, thank you so much. Anytime.
Hello, this is Webb Hubble. Life insurance is now available for responsible marijuana smokers. For years, responsible marijuana smokers have not been able to access affordable life insurance products. NORML uniquely supports cannabis consumers. 2 carriers have already agreed to offer all of their traditional life insurance products at all levels without excluding individuals who smoke marijuana responsibly. Help NORML and help yourself. If you've been declined for life insurance, are paying above market premiums, or simply want to know what now may be available in the way of insurance for marijuana smokers, contact me at info@mclaughlinonline.com or simply call me at 202-293-5566.
Legalization, decriminalization, lowest law enforcement priority, medical marijuana, ganja sacrament, consumer cannabis, industrial hemp. The world of marijuana law reform involves many different aspects of cannabis that intersect nearly every public policy discussion in America, including healthcare, the economy, global climate change, law enforcement and prisons, immigration, religion, free speech, energy policy, and war. Now we take a look at how re-legalizing marijuana will change the world in our NORML daily audio stash, Cannabis Conversations. Welcome back, everyone. 47 after the hour. We're going to turn things over to Douglas Hyatt, who was on a panel in Seattle, Washington. Or he's from Seattle, Washington. He was at a panel on our Aspen Legal Seminar. He had a really good rant that we want to play for you. But before we do, we have a guest in studio who wanted to say something to Cannabis Carrie. So we turn things over now to Larry Kirk, LK, who wanted to say hi to Carrie.
Hey, Carrie. We feel very blessed to have you with us, girl. I'm here, happy to hear it was only a fingernail.
We have Carrie?
I don't think we have Carrie. Oh, I know what's wrong. I've muted Carrie, but that's okay. We're here. Carrie, just a second. We'll get you back on the line here. But yeah, it was quite an ordeal there that we had on Sunday when we got the call early in the morning about Carrie being in the rollover accident. So I wanted to give you a couple minutes, Carrie. I've got you on now to be able to say hi to the folks listening who are all worried about you and tell them, kind of what happened.
Well, I just wanted to say I love Larry Kirk, and he's always there when really cool things happen to me. I don't know what it is, but, accidents happen, and I feel really blessed, and I guess this is just a lesson for all of us to not sweat the small stuff, because you never know what each day is going to bring. And I'm fine. I'm feeling pretty good, and thank you for your concern, everybody.
And if anything, it actually, I thought about it when I got in the car this morning, and it made me put my seatbelt on, so.
Yeah. And Carrie, I've got up on the webcam right now the picture with you, with Keith Stropp around, with his arm around you, and you had a great time talking to Keith, and you had a really cool experience at Hunter Thompson's place. Why don't you tell the folks about that?
Well, at Hunter Thompson's place, I got to be in a living room where people were doing readings from Hunter with his wife was there, and Keith, and a lot of cool places. But honestly, Russ, one of the cooler things at Hunter Thompson's place was actually getting to see you play bass up on stage and having people all dance to that music. It was really a great time, and man, everybody was high.
Yeah, it was quite a bit there. Yeah, I got to get up and jam, play a little bit of music, and NORML's Bill Panzer, who's on the board of directors, he was sitting in playing guitar as well. So it was a really good chance for us to get a chance to jam and hang out at Hunter's place. Now, it was raining like crazy, though. Completely raining and pouring. It's like we brought Portland weather with us somehow, but it was still a good time was had by all. All right, all this week we're going to be playing clips for you from the Aspen Legal Seminar, some great stuff that we streamed up online. And there was a panel on Friday with medical marijuana issues in Oregon, Michigan, Colorado, and Washington. And representing the state of Washington was attorney Douglas Hyatt, who's been a guest on our show previously. And he had this great rant about the need to legalize marijuana because of all the problems that prohibition causes for medical marijuana patients. And he knows about this, working with it firsthand, defending these patients in court. We turn it over now to Douglas Hyatt.
I've taken on these groups of extremely sick people that are trying 5 and 6 patients at a time, trying to band together and take care of themselves. And the fucking drug task force over there is in there kicking down their door every 30 days, confiscating their stuff. I mean, it's just a continual pattern of harassment. And when you read the Fry decision, you understand that this could go on potentially forever, because you could be in compliance, get taken down in a drug raid, go to court, do a jury trial, win, do a forfeiture, win, and it can be at your house the next day. There's no way to stop it. There's no way to protect people. Given what they said in Fry, it's only an affirmative defense. We're screwed. There's going to be no way to effectively protect patients very soon under our medical marijuana law. And that is why we have got to have marijuana law reform for everyone. We cannot continue to protect patients effectively unless marijuana is available to everyone. And that's just a fact. So to that end, Jeff Steinborn and I and some other people drafted an initiative that's out there called 1068, and we're trying to get it on the ballot and we're trying to get it passed. Because that is the only way, I believe, we're going to be able to adequately protect patients. I've got cancer patients that are literally dying. I'm having to go to court and get preservation depositions ordered by courts because prosecutors are dragging the case out waiting for the fucking guy to die. Now, what the hell is wrong with these guys? They have any compassion at all? How in the hell can you do that? I invited the guy over to come to my client's, the prosecutor to come over to my client's house. Come and meet this man. They won't do it. Why are they doing this to people that are sick and dying? What is the deal? Is it just the money they get for these cases? That's what they tell me all the time. We get paid a lot for these trials. The federal government pays us. If it involves marijuana, we get money. You get money to torture a fucking dying guy? You know, wouldn't mama be proud, man? You know, that's just outstanding. And that's not one case. Jeff and I have cases like that come in once a week. We've got some egregious bullshit going on in some outlying county that just got a drug task force, just got a new toy. And medical marijuana patients are sitting ducks. They are sitting ducks. And they get broken into, they get shot at, nobody gives a damn. You know, the cops come, oh, you got medical marijuana? Well, what'd you expect? Fuck you. See you later. They don't even investigate. They don't even pretend to investigate. That's the situation we've got. And we're supposed to be one of the better states? This is supposed to be working somehow? You gotta be fucking kidding me, right? We have got to do something more effective to protect patients and to protect all of the other people that are using marijuana. Because this got to end. This kind of abuse of rights. I mean, this is the new civil rights. This is it. This is the new civil rights issue. We've got a lot of other stuff out of the way. Maybe we're making some progress. But we are stuck with this war on drugs. And until we can get rid of some of this, until we can get rid of marijuana prohibition, the war on drugs is a war on marijuana. And it's a war on patients. And they're just racking it up. And they're using the backlash, and they're trying to portray it all as fun and games. It's not. We know that. But we need to protect everybody. The time has come to stop having them ruin anybody's life over a benign therapeutic substance that should not even be a controlled substance. Shouldn't even be. Our initiative turns marijuana no controlled substance. We redefine it. We do what the pharmacy board should do. We free up hemp. We need to be talking about green jobs. Hey, I got some green jobs for the Obama administration, boys. Let's go out there and grow some hemp. Let's make some hemp boards. Let's develop hemp concrete. Let's have carbon neutral buildings. Let's have some interesting, development on the commercial side. What are you guys doing? Is this the progressive that we elected? I mean, come on. This is ridiculous. I don't know what else to say. The law is just a tool that I try and use to protect people. And some people say I'm too blunt or I'm too harsh or I swear too much, but I'm not running a fucking popularity contest here. I'm trying to keep people out of jail. I am trying to keep people out of prison, usually people that are sick and dying. When I did hardcore criminal defense and I did murder trials and, was thinking about evidence to try and get, guys a good trial in a murder case or something, I knew I was doing a good job. I felt proud. I was vindicating constitutional rights. I felt good about all that stuff, and I still do. I did a controlled substance homicide a year ago for a kid. I don't do juvenile cases, but I did one. And I got the kid off, and I felt great about it. This is a bullshit case. But we don't have the tools anymore. The courts, the law, we have got to get this stuff back on track. It's ridiculous. When they are putting people that aren't, charged with traditional crimes, quote unquote, in prison, we've got a real problem. These people aren't criminals. These people are sick and dying patients. What the fuck are they doing with people like that? You can't, as a lawyer, as a criminal defense attorney, fail to take some of those cases. Jeff, Ron, and I, we take a lot of these cases. We take them pro bono because the people that need our help can't pay for us. The people that have the impact litigation cases where, like Marty Kozert and other people, where the rubber's going to meet the road, those people can't pay. We've got to find ways to fund these cases and fund this impact litigation and get this back on track for patients, or we're screwed. The larger reform, I'm going to work on that. I'm going to run some type of legalization initiative. The one we've got that Jeff and I worked on is a complete repeal of prohibition. It simply withdraws all criminal penalties in Washington State for adult marijuana use, cultivation. You can bathe in it. You can snort it, smoke it. It doesn't matter. All the criminal laws repealed. All the civil forfeitures repealed. It's all gone. It's exactly what they did in 23 in New York with prohibition when they left 10 years ahead of the rest of the country. Same thing. We're leaving prohibition, fine. Federal government, you want the marijuana prohibition? Fuck you. You pay for it. We're saving $150 million. We're saving 14,000 arrests. You're not ruining any more lives. We get this, hemp is legal. You get this thing passed. We're going to plant 20,000 acres of hemp out there next year. Kick your ass. This is important. This is the future. We got to protect these folks. We got to protect this emerging industry, and we got to do a better job of funding the impact cases and using the law to do it. I'll use any trick I can at trial. Anything I can pick up, I'll steal from anybody to try and win these cases and keep these people free. And I think that most of the people in this room feel the same fucking way. And I'm proud to be here talking to all of you and talking to you about the law and talking to you about the commitment that we all share to stop this bullshit. And I thank you very much.
That's Douglas Hyatt, an attorney from Seattle, Washington. He famously defended the Tim Guerin case, the case of the musician who needed a liver transplant and was denied a transplant because he was using medical marijuana legally in the state of Washington. He's been working for so many patients up there in Washington state and, of course, is the chief petitioner, along with Jeffrey Steinborn, a NORML legal committee member and board of directors member, the I-1068 initiative to legalize in Washington state. If you haven't signed yet in Washington state, please get involved. Check out sensiblewashington.org for more details. And for Cannabis Carrie and Ganja John and everyone here at NORML.org, thanks for listening to the show. We got replays every 2 hours. We'll be back tomorrow. And until next time, take care of each other, tokers.
You try it,
This is NORML Show Live, the voice of the marijuana nation.
Take it on one more time. You take a seed, you plant it, you grow it, you dry it, you roll it, you smoke it. You take a seed, you plant it, you grow it, you dry it, you roll it, you smoke it. You take a seed, you plant it, you grow it.
So where are you headed?
Aspen.
California. Beautiful.